let's have a look to the practical cases of SQL injection vulnerability. For this, let's navigate to our locally hosted website. So we need to look for some place to inject our SQL injection payload first. So home page doesn't have any. So we navigate to the shop page. This page contains a search parameter which takes user input. Here we can enter a single quote and click search. Observe that the quote is getting URL encoded on the server side. We can also try to enter classic boolean based payloads such as the following, but it won't work as the characters are getting encoded on the backend. Login pages again are susceptible to SQL injections as they require retrieval of data from the database. Here if we enter a single quote and click login, we can observe that the SQL query is given out in the form of an error message along with the table name trn_user_login. We can try to retrieve the data using our classic boolean based SQL injection payload. Unfortunately, this is not getting executed in the backend as the server is treating this as a normal string. But we can try for blind SQL injection as well. So on entering the following payload and clicking on login, you can check for the response time taken by the web application. We can observe that the server response had been delayed by 10 seconds. So this indicates that the application is indeed vulnerable to blind SQLi. Now let's take it one step ahead. Enter some random credentials and intercept the login request using burp suite by turning the intercept on. Observe that the request contains the username and password fields for logging and a PHP session ID in the form of a cookie. Let us send this request to the repeater for easier testing. Navigate to the repeater tab and click on send. Now as you can see that the application gives out an obvious login failed outcome since we were entering wrong credentials. Now our target is to retrieve this data from the trn_user_login table so that we can actually log into the application. We can try to inject a single quote or our classic boolean based payload in the session ID parameter as well. But it still gives a failed login response. What if there is a blind SQL injection here as well? Let us try the payload which we used earlier. As you can see, it generates the same response. But if we encode this payload in base64 format and click on send, we can observe that the response from the server is again being delayed by 10 seconds. Hence, it is vulnerable to blind SQLi as well. Now focusing on retrieving the trn_user_login table. For this, we can use a basic union based query as shown. Convert this to base64 and click on send. You can see that the WAF has blocked us. Generally, this happens because SQL keywords like union, select, insert might be blacklisted at the backend. Let's try to bypass this. So this is the original query entered by us. What will happen if we split the keywords union and select using the null bytes as shown? If backend server is validating the input, then these null bytes will be removed and the remaining string will be concatenated, forming the keyword again. Let's convert this to base64 and click on send. Look at that, entire data consisting of username, email IDs, passwords is retrieved from the trn_user_login table even after getting a login failed response. We can try to escalate it further by retrieving various kinds of information from the server like version of database. But as we can see, the server gives out a fatal error message. Hence for now, let's log in as a basic user, say Bob, and look for other places to find SQL injections so that we can dump the entire database. After we log in as Bob, observe that there is a set username functionality where a user can change his username to anything, let's say test. If we input a single quote and click set username, the web application responds with an error message saying error changing username. Now if we try the same blind SQL injection payload again and click set username, the application responds with a delay of 10 seconds. Also the username is changed and there is no error message this time, thus confirming the blind SQL injection. Since we know that the data on this page is being queried from trn_user_login table, we can combine blind SQL injection with union based SQL injection to dump the entire database. First of all, we know that the table has total of 11 columns. Hence, the query will contain 11 null parameters. If the number of columns would have been unknown, then we would have manually added null parameters and set username to see when we get a valid response. Anyways, the query looks something like this. Using this query, let's just click on set username. Observe that there's an error changing username message again. So this is happening because we actually missed one null parameter. Add it and set the username again. Observe that the username is changed without any error messages. This acts as a boolean value indicating that the query is correct or incorrect. Now we'll start dumping the database. Starting with the database version, just replace any of the null parameter with @version and click on set username. Observe that the MS SQL database version is actually retrieved. Next, we'll dump all the tables in the information schema of the database using the following query. Hopefully this should work as well. On sending this, we get our old error friend again. This happens as the website is not really supporting the data to be retrieved in a table format. Hence, we use the string underscore agg function, which takes all the table underscore names and concatenates the values into a single string using a specified delimiter, comma in this case. Now, if we send this query, the data from the backend will be retrieved in the form of a single string separated by commas. Voila! All the tables in the information schema have been retrieved. Similarly, if you want to dump the columns of the trn underscore products table, we will use the following query. And finally, we can retrieve the data from this table using the where clause. Suppose we want to get the name of the product whose product ID is 1, we will use the following query. And you can see that our SQL injection attack is indeed working. We got the product as Nordic chair. Now our target is to retrieve the password of an admin user so that Bob can use the credentials and log in as an admin user to get escalated privileges in the application. So in order to do so for this we'll follow the same steps. First, dumping the column names from trn underscore user underscore login table using the following query. As you can see, we have successfully got the columns that were inside the trn underscore user underscore login table. Then selecting the password of the user whose email ID is admin@gmail.com using the where clause, which we previously did. If you click on set username, you may check that you have successfully retrieved the password of the admin user. We can verify this password with the password retrieved in verb should response while performing the SQL injection on the session ID parameter. Let's log out from Bob's account. Now let's try logging in as an admin and perform the administrative level functionalities in the web application. As can be seen, the login is completely successful. If you go to the admin profile, and you can see that Bob has successfully able to log in into an administrator user account, and also the SQL injection vulnerabilities should be taken seriously and proper input validation and sanitization should be implemented on the server side.